Good morning, everyone. Such a pleasure to have this beautiful panel with me. This is the first time we are doing this. I don't know if it's done at other Lit Fest, but this is the first time we are doing a panel with book clubs. And I think I hope it continues, and we kind of have you as a part of LitFest because you're an integral part of the book community. So, such a pleasure having you here. Thank you. I know it's 10 o'clock in the morning. People are still coming in. One of our panelists has also not come, but let's start and he'll join us later. So, let me start. I mean, we already heard what you're doing, but let me start with all of you. Quickly, I want to know the motivation behind why you started your book club.
So, hi, good morning, everyone. I am Jigna Malwankar, and I think it's very clear. I have published at so many places that why I started this book club. When my daughter was born, I was not an avid reader myself, so I wanted her to be a reader. And as it said that children learn from parents, like seeing what they do. And I was searching actually for book clubs in Pune. I didn't find any. And with just 7 of our friends and members, like we were part of other groups, and we thought let's start like reading, not it was not a reading club but a reading maybe group or something activity. And that's how we started. And that's what began the journey of Bookoholics. At that time, we had not even thought like what will be the name until we had our first. Then we thought that let's meet, and we met at Suvarna's ABC, like her book cafe, and it was in
Which year was that?
2016 September. I remember the
2016
date.
September.
It was 20th September 2016 was our
Okay.
first book meet.
All right.
We were 7 of us, and we had one book, Pune book, Pune. There was one another group who had joined, and they were also, I think, around 8 to 10, and it was amazing.
And today, what is the number of members?
Almost 7,000 plus.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's superb. That's really good. Yeah.
So that's how the journey started, and with COVID and all the hiccups, but it's still going on, and
Wonderful.
we completed 8 years.
Wonderful. Ekta.
Thank you, Manjiri, for having me, and very good morning to all of you. Such a lovely morning, and to have in this esteemed company, it feels really nice. Talking about Reader Kitaab, and the question that you answered, that why did we start Reader Kitaab? So I think it was purely to spread the joy of reading. There was no other motive or intention or idea behind it. And we thought that it was important that we want people to read more and read diverse. We wanted people to understand that there is so much joy that a written word can bring, and that was the whole motivation, or I would say that was it. It was purely out of passion that a few of us, just came in together, and we were reading always. I mean, since I don't remember the age when I started reading personally, but I mean it's been a part of the lifestyle, and it never felt that I'm doing something new. So it was completely out of passion, and it was just to nudge people to read more.
And which
read.
year was this?
It was 2020.
Oh, that's pretty recent. 4 years
yeah,
ago.
4
and
years.
You started with how many members?
So, okay, calling members would be a different thing, but because we
That's
all
all right.
started as a book
Book lovers.
yeah.
Okay, how many book lovers
So,
did you start with?
I think we started off with 7, 8 of us,
Okay.
or maybe even less, 4, 5 of us. Let me put it like that.
And 4 years later?
And today we are around 22,000 plus
Wow,
people.
that's wonderful.
And lovely
Superb.
group of people reading very diverse literature, and the joy that we have after interacting, having these discussions all across the country and also outside the country is beyond my capacity to define. It is such a
Lovely.
brilliant, it is an exuberance experience.
Lovely, lovely. What about you, Shankar? I think you've been around in Pune for a long time. Your
8
group?
years.
8 years, yeah, because I seem to remember meeting you and interacting with you at some point, yeah.
So, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Shankar. I'm a part of a writing collective called the Pune Writers Group, where we got together with the initiative of giving people a place to sit and write. And I was lucky enough to be one of the inner team very quickly. And one of the initiatives we brought about was a classical book reading group, because I felt that classics are always daunting. People don't approach them uh, with the same joy that they do with a best-selling book. And I've always felt that reading is a solitary activity, but discussing books and discussing books you read is a communal thing. And the classical book group has been around for about 5 years now. I don't know how to put a number on the number of members we have, because we are a called a subsidiary, although that sounds boring, of Pune Writers Group. And Pune Writers Group has more than 2,000 members.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure on everyone to join every book club. So I announce the book, and then whoever wants to read that book joins. And then we go week by week. We finish the books. We've had 35, 40 books now. Almost
Okay.
all of them very old, but some recent ones as well.
Yeah.
And the only joy we get is reading these, discussing them. And I think everybody comes away having a good sense of community and a good sense of appreciating literature and what it has done and what it can do.
Wonderful, yeah. But, there's thousands of books out there. Now, I should say lakhs of books out there. Each one of you, do you have a process or a kind of a core team or a committee that chooses a book that you want to discuss? With so many members, everyone is going to suggest some book or the other. So do you have a process? Do you decide we want to do this book? Is it a team that decides or one single person?
So for me, I would like to also introduce my co-founder Ne Akanksha. She's not here; she's out of India. But before that, she was here. So earlier, when we started in earlier days, so yeah, we had a team where we used to decide a book. But generally, before COVID, our meets used to be theme based. It was not a particular book where we used to read. It would be a thriller, or we used to pick up a theme, and all the members used to talk about the book which they have read or they want to read. So
On the theme. Any book one theme.
one theme
Okay.
or one genre, you can say, where we used to pick up if it is a romance or thriller. So that's how we used to get a lot many TBRs. You can
Yeah,
say that we have not read this book. So this is how we used to do. After that, when it was all online, then we started Book of the Month, and then we had a team where and we used to actually ask all the I think members in the group that we used to do a poll. They used to suggest the books. Then we used to do a poll, and then the members itself, they used to decide that what book they want to read for their month.
Yeah, fair way of doing it. Because
I am. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm still active, but I was a member of Bookoholics.
Yes.
Oh, is
And I
it?
joined
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Then I become
Yeah, I
very
guess there would be
regular attending,
offshoots.
but I've been to a lot of their sessions, and they're not about a particular book.
Yeah.
But they're just about everybody exchanging books and
Right.
Yes.
Oh, that's
And-
wonderful, yeah.
And I forgot that before that we used to exchange the books also in the meet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like borrow the book and return it after you read. So it was kind of reading the book and knowing, and then you can buy the book if you like it. Yeah.
Okay, but I have another question to that response,
Okay,
but
we'll
I'll come back
come,
to.
yes.
I need to hold that thought because anyway, you tell me. Ekta.
So how we do it is, again, like Jigna talked about, it's pretty democratic. But yes, we do have a core, group of people, and we do have certain criteria on which we select our book of the month, and that is based on so at the beginning of the year we kind of plan the entire schedule for the year, that this is how we're going to read, this is what we're going to read, not exactly the books, but these are the important things that we think are to be read or something that is must read. And that is very diverse, because we read from books ranging from books written by authors in Gaza to Booker winner books, to books which are very popular, to books which are very lesser known. So I mean, it is not any particular segment that we pick our book of the month, but it is very, very diverse. So, and we also pick up classics as one of for one of the months, and that's how it goes. So for every month there is a theme on the basis of which we pick our book of the month. Like we have Black History Month, then we have Women's Literature Month, then we have Hispanic History Month. So basis that also we decide our books, but majorly it also depends on what we think is something that people should read, and this is a very good literature. And then we give options to people, and there is a poll that we announce, and basis that we select the book. Most of the times our books, I mean, earlier we started off with fiction, but then there are a lot of people in the community who read non-fiction, so we have started reading non-fiction also. So we have one book of the month which is a fiction book, and one is a non-fiction book.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Shankar.
Our selection is not noble nor is it democratic.
Okay,
It's
I'm
all
glad you
decided by
admitted it
me,
because my question was going to be that.
It's all
bias.
decided by me,
Yeah.
and some members have called me Hitler, which I'm happy to take. I don't mind.
Okay.
I've tried the mustache; it didn't work. But I select the books, and we go with. We don't find too many hidden gems yet.
Hold the mic close. Yeah.
We don't find too many hidden gems yet.
Your mic's not working, I think.
No, I can't tell.
Can you hear him? Okay, you can hear him because I thought.
you
Yeah,
hear me?
sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
don't-
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We don't try to find books, and I deliberately don't try to find books that are of the moment or of the time. So we started with War and Peace, and we
Okay.
went through a lot of Russian authors. We went through Middlemarch. So it's books that are bona fide classics. So I'll read up on them. I may have read them when I was much, much younger, and thankfully forgot most of it. So I'm happy. I'm happy for people to have no learning from the books except the books themselves.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds shallow, but that's the way it is. I think I don't need. There are many places to improve yourself and get things better. You don't need to come to our book club. Sorry, our book club. I'll give credit to the others for that. So I select classics. I do have a pretense of democracy where people will suggest books, but very often I'll already know what I'm going to choose. But we try to keep it to classics. We try to keep it to books, and very often they're books that people have actually been intimidated to read. Like, we have a lot of ladies in the group, and I remember when we picked up A House for Mr. Biswas, there were a few ladies who said, I don't read Naipaul because of his misogynist views, but they were pleasantly surprised when they did read the book. So that's kind of one of the key purposes of the book club itself, to open your mind a bit to different readers and their works.
Okay, but now since I'm holding a few thoughts in my head, I'm going to start with you. You said you exchange books and you borrow copies and return them. Now, my big question to you, the biggest thing an author needs is sales. Okay? All the book clubs in the country, everyone put together, my first question to all of you, would your book clubs help the sales of an author? Number one. And number two, when you say that, we exchange and whatever, do you encourage your book club members to actually buy the copy, read it, and then come forward? Or is it just, we decide this book and then we all read it and then you pass it on? And so my whole thing is about sales now. Tell me how you would help the sales, because that's what it is all about. When you talk about reading, you're also talking about the commercial part of it, which is the selling of the books. How would your book club help an author?
Yeah, so as I said that when we started earlier, it was all like, as even Ekta said, bringing the book lovers' intention to help people read. Coming to the sales part, I think almost 1 or 2 years there were no authors in the group, or we were not even thinking to promote authors. It was like just reading.
I don't mean, I understand that,
Yeah.
but I understood that it's for the joy of reading. We are
Correct.
going beyond that now.
Yeah.
And I want to know.
So no, I'm
how
just
would you
saying
help
that
them?
how it
Yeah.
started. So when we started with book exchange, it was that maybe not lot many people had books maybe at home. They want to explore the options, but as I said that when we exchanged the books, there were people who liked the book. They used to buy the book, after reading that they wanted to keep in their collection. This is how all it started. And coming to the part where you say that after that, like when we had author sessions, we used to like have the books for sale, and we used to encourage. Even when we had online interviews, we do encourage, like you can go and buy the books from Amazon or the link. And we have people in our group, the members, who actually buy the books. Like we from now there are a lot many book fest, maybe like books by kilo and lot many.
Yeah.
So we have members who go and buy the books.
Okay, that's
So-
good news. That's very, and very hopeful for all the authors out there. Yes, Ekta.
So yeah, Manjiri, I completely understand your point, and I think it is so fairly put, because one of the I mean, people have kind of called us out for this, but I mean, we've made it a point since day one that we will not encourage people sharing pirated copies on with each other, and this has been a very conscious decision. There has been a lot of debate on this that reading should be accessible, content should be accessible, but we will also have to see that when we talk about literature, it's okay if you don't consume it. There is so much that is available. Consume what is available. Don't pirate a copy and read it. Because the hard work that the author has put into it should definitely give the author some returns. Otherwise, this people will stop writing, which has been the case for a very long time. People were not motivated. Even today, if you ask an author, they will tell you, I'm not making money out of it. I'm publishing my book. I just want people to read it. I'm giving my free copies, and still people are not reading it. Because when everything is accessible, our TBRs are already so blown up. We'll just keep a pirated copy, and we'll just keep it forever, and it will just be circulated. So this was a very conscious decision that we took as a community, that we don't want any pirated copies to be floated across. That is one. Second is to whenever we announce a book, we also urge people to pick that book and buy that from whatever source, whether you buy it from Amazon. We don't give them specific reasoning that you have to go to a bookstore and buy. Yes, we do support individual bookstores, and we have been very vocal about that as well in our community, but we don't restrict people, and we don't have a method that no, only you have to buy from a certain store. We are okay if you buy from Amazon, you buy it from anywhere. I mean, this is what we tell people to do. Now, we cannot control someone, but we can definitely, set certain ethos within the community, and that is how we work. So we definitely encourage people, whether you buy a Kindle copy or you buy a hard copy, whatever kind of a reader you are, but go ahead and buy a book and support the author who's given you so much joy in reading. So I mean, I think that is one of the biggest things that we do.
You put that well too, because if you want to promote the joy of reading, you need to promote authors who are writing those books. So there's no two ways about it. Coming to you, Shankar, you said you focus on classics.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're asking me today and not a month and a half ago, because
why?
Until a month and a half ago, I think everything we read was all available free in the public domain, the copyrighted text.
No, so I'm coming to that. You encourage classics. I absolutely believe that everyone must read classics. But do you not think that you're being a little unfair to all the thousands of writers in current India who are milling out stories and books out of books? No one's reading them. I mean, I'm sorry I'm putting this out there, but honestly, books are not being read. So when you focus on classics, which is great, what about the ones who are now living and writing?
Yeah, I guess every book club has to have its own dictate, has to have its own domain of what it's going to cover. I understand you. I am also an aspiring writer, and so I definitely don't.
Yeah, you're going to face the same thing.
Yeah, but all I can say is people will read what is put in front of them, and I don't think there's a linear connection to the books we read in our book club and people buying only those books. Like if you read Tolstoy, then you will be inspired to pick up something more recent as well. If you read Kafka, there's a new book out called Metamorphosis that came out last year. That people will bring up. And
that's an old one.
No, that's the old one.
That's a very old one.
Old one. Okay.
There's a new book
Another
about
one.
Kafka's life.
Oh, okay. About Kafka. Yeah.
So that there's a link there. And recently we picked up a book by the Nobel Prize winner Olga Tokarczuk, and we're reading it now. And that's very recent. So we very clearly said there's no public domain to run to here. And luckily people have gone ahead and bought it. Soft copy or hard copy, that's up to them. So I agree with you, it is a problem. I'm not going to be callous and say it's not. I don't have a solution for it. And I'm just trying to grow a dedicated club of readers. Very encouragingly, a couple of people who've come to the club have told me that they pushed their children into reading some of the books as well. So I think I'm just planting those small seeds and see where it goes.
No, we are here because you are the hope.
Okay.
That's the whole reason we are having this session. Because book clubs are a hope. You are the connecting, the mediator between the reader and the public. Yep. Like agents are between publishers and writers. Yeah. You are going to connect us to your readers because your members are the real readers.
Yes.
Which is why we are all here today. But since you talked about the future and all, I would like to talk to Sumit. You started a children's book club, right? And I want to know the focus of your book club. Why have you started? There are already too many writers out there. And you're encouraging your kids to write as well. Okay. Yes. So tell me, how are you going to balance the love of reading with the love of writing? Because in our Lit Fest, we do encourage children, authors, but our focus is reading.
Yes.
Read first and write later, write later. So tell me how this balance you're going to strike in your book club, and what do you hope to achieve?
See, whereas I started as a hub basically, where I was teaching the students creative writing and all those things, but I realized that they were completely motivated and inspired to write, but most of the students were not reading. And even if they were reading, they were only reading their textbook or the schools that they were giving them, the books to read. And most of them were only reading Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or they were reading Matilda, nothing else. So I was like, I have to change that. And during that time, your book came out, Malabar Cottage.
Okay.
So I was like, let me start with that. Let me see how I can encourage my students to read. So your book came, and there's another author, Vibha Batra, whose book came, Pinku Shergill. So these two books were there. And children were like, oh, we've never read any Indian author. So I was like, just try this out. Out of, at that time I was teaching around 50 students, around 30 of them read. And they started reading because of this book and Pinku Shergill. More students joined in, and then then I was like, I have to start a reading club as well. And then I remembered when I did creative writing in 2011, Manju Kapoor, the acclaimed author, told me, Sumit, if you want to be an author, if you want to write, you should read one book a day. So this is what I also tell my students. She told me to read 300-page book, but I am telling my students to read 100-page book. And it's, be it Enid Blyton, be it Manjiri Prabhu, be it Vibha Batra. And this is what I want to achieve. My vision is that the children are our future leaders, and we are there to nurture them and make them into global citizens. They have to read a lot. They have to read about, a lot of themes are available. They have to read, they have to get inspired, and then they have to pen their own thought. If they don't read, I don't think they'll become good writers.
But how do you, they have also published now, and you
So the
launched two books
students who
here.
publish, so there's
Yeah.
a lot of,
Yeah,
I go
so my
through-
that my whole thing is that I know that parents are very enthused and they want their kids to do it, which is all great, okay?
Yeah.
But how is it going to help us in the long run, where the balance, the ratio of readers and writers is, the writers are far outgrowing the readers. So are you kind of focusing on that in your group?
Uh,
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just
No,
asking you as what is your thought behind it?
No, see, these authors that I'm, these budding
Yeah.
young authors,
Yeah.
basically the mindset is what's happening right now is that, they need a lot of profiling in this school.
Okay.
Because of the profiling. So I was like, if you want a good profiling for your child has to read books.
Right.
So right now my focus is that instead
mic.
of, that,
Mike's gone.
hello? That's okay, I think they can hear.
No. Can you just forward your mic?
Okay, it's fine.
Come back,
It's fine.
it's back. No, it's back.
So my focus right now is that they have to read books. To become a proper published author, there's a lot of time. First, they have to read, and this is what my focus of the club is to read books,
But-
not to make them authors.
But parents insist.
Parents, no, the parents also understand now. Earlier, they were like, we want, the child has written a story or written a poem, oh, please publish him. I was like, this is not the
No, but
way.
good. I'm.
So Manjiri, if I may,
Yeah.
just take a bit here
Yeah,
and adding to what Sumit is talking about, I think we are as a society being very fundamentally wrong here. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but I've been seeing this with a lot of parents coming and they're talking about their kids to build up their profile, to read
Yeah.
somewhere. They have already charted their career paths. They've already set what they're going to do after 20 years, and then we talk about that children are being rebel or children are doing like this. If you already know that you want your child to go to the US, and for that you are kind of preparing an SOP, and for that you want the person to just write. I mean, I'm being very candid out here, and I'm not bashing anybody. I know that people have their own have had their own struggles, and they want to their kids not to face that and have a better life. But we are being fundamentally wrong here because we are doing this just to achieve something. And that is where we're missing out the point of being readers, which is very, very important. I very firmly believe, and I'm sure you as an author, such a prolific writer, and also studied so much, you would kind of agree to me that you can never be a writer if you're not a reader. And you can never write well. You can definitely write. Anybody can write. Anybody can read. But are you really reading? That is important. Are you really writing? That is important. And that is what book clubs are supposed to do, to bring back reading into the lives of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And I know that it's important to encourage. I mean, you're doing a great job because I've met his children and they read my book, they reviewed it, and it was an amazing experience. And the larger interest is what I'm talking about. So now I just want to ask you, do you think your book club is making a difference in the world of books?
So
Be very honest.
yeah. So
I know every book club is going to say yes, but I also want to know why.
yeah,
And how?
and that's what I was going to say. Okay, the answer is yes.
I know.
Yeah, as I said that when we started, I could not find a book club, and why the people who have the members who have joined us, I think they were also maybe looking to share what they are reading, talk about the books. There are members who still ping me, and before that we are friends, we read books, but we don't have anyone to talk about the books, or maybe some character or anything which they want to discuss. And that's how they have joined. And maybe as a book club, what different we are doing? Nothing different. As all the book clubs, we are promoting reading. That's what we want. Recently we have also started kids club, as even like Shankar and Sumit said that children's are the seed. We encourage them to read, so there is just one small incident for my daughter's school. They visit home, and they check that what is your home. This was in K1, junior KG. Out of all the 40 kids, there was only my daughter who had books lying around. I mean, I'm not just trying to show off, but the thing is that the director of our school, she really appreciates, because she herself encourages reading. They have when there is a school vacation, they give couple of books, novels for kids to read. So that's how she is promoting, and she really liked that. And then we had sessions in the school where there are parents who actually don't know that there are kids book apart from comics which are available, and they can read, the kids can read. There are board books, there are touch and feel books.
Yeah.
So I
you
think
created the awareness,
yes,
basically.
we create the
Yeah,
awareness.
you create the awareness.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we are trying to maybe
Wonderful.
make a difference. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful.
Manjiri, it is a very difficult question. I'll not answer it with a yes, that I must tell you. And why so? Because I think I would not be the right person to answer this. And I'm sure the people in the community would be the right people to answer this. Okay. So I think, if you really ask, are we making any difference? If I look at from my parlance, I've seen, people reading so much more, so much diverse. I have learned so much. I mean, each one of us has learned so much from each other. And I think that is a real progress that I see. And, book clubs, which also is the topic for the day, is a fad or reality. I think 10 years down the line, we'll definitely know if they really are. If you really look at them today, I think there are a lot of book clubs that is happening, and this is very new concept to India. I mean, for India, book clubs are not very, not an ancient concept, or not a very old concept for the West. So I think book clubs mainly are about building community and reading, reading together, discussing things together, bringing the joy of reading together, which is often very, which I also feel that, we also miss that in certain segments. And when we do that, then we are not making any difference. So it is very important to, nudge people to read more, read diverse. And I think in that sense, we are definitely adding a lot of value to people's lives because we ourselves are changing as readers, we are evolving as readers. So I'm sure the community members are doing that
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. You know, any journey begins with the self. So you've started it already. Yes, Shankar.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes and no. If anything can be argued against, but I think we have to look at it in terms of long term and also depth rather than breadth. It's not about the numbers in certain cases. So if people come to something willingly and you show them the magic in it, then you will plant something. And the same way I picked up a book, and maybe the first book I picked up I didn't read, but something engaged in me. That's how I want this book club to be, you know. And I think the reason the classics, and I go back to the classics, there's a reason they're classics. They've lasted through a long time period, and so there's not values, there are messages and content and quality in there that is irrespective of when they were, and that itself is a message. So yeah, I think personally it's made a huge difference to me, and also a difference to people who are able to join every week, and as we go through the different books, and I'm happy where it is. I don't want it to become this 1 billion people attending or whatever big numbers. I don't think there's a merit in that. I've always seen more you add, something gets diluted here, and it's a very fine, very rare thing, almost intangible. The magic you get from reading a book or being part of a book club. It's not one of those things that I went to a session for 1 hour. I learned how to do Excel. It's just completely different.
Mike.
It's completely different. It's not. You can't commoditize it into something like that. So yeah, I would say on balance, definitely yes.
So you wouldn't know tangibly whether it's making a difference, but of course it is making
Yeah,
a difference.
it's-
We all know
I know
that.
it's making a difference
We all know
because
it is. I'm just asking
if I
these
skip a
hard
couple of weeks,
questions
people ask me,
because
"When's
we
the
need
next
to
book?" And
all,
I know that.
Yeah.
And I think, Manjiri, since we are sitting here today and discussing with you on
Yeah.
this esteemed platform,
Yeah.
I don't think so. We need to answer this question.
You don't think you do?
Yeah.
Because obviously.
Because
Yeah.
I think the world knows, and coming to Pune Lit Fest, which is such a prestigious platform, and you've invited and curated this session for book clubs because you definitely see the value that they're bringing. So I think the question that you asked is a very
rhetorical question. Yes, it is. It's just for the sake of our audience and the video that's taking it, and it's going to go public. So I believe in you, which is why you're here. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sumit, you tell me.
I think I have a long way to go. I think I'll take 3 more years to answer this
Oh, but you
question.
have already come. I know that you've been doing work for a long, long time. I've known Sumit for very long, like since 2013 almost. He was one of the first members who was the core committee of PILF, by the way, which is why I pulled his leg when he came up. So, yeah, but Sumit has always been with books, I know that, and always words, always encouraged authors. In fact, I have to tell this little story about Sumit, not to make up for pulling your leg earlier, but honestly, when I was looking, I think the Cavern Site Conspiracy, was it,
Yeah.
came out, and I was looking for good reviewers. And I was going through, and there were so many happening around. Everyone was picking a book, and I could see the sorry state of reviews happening across Facebook. And I came across this one review by somebody called Sehgal, and I looked at it and I loved it so much. I said, I want this person to read my book and review it. I didn't know him from Adam. And then I reached out to him and I said, will you please review my book? And since then he came to PILF all the way from Delhi. He was a very big part in the first 2 years. Then
Wow.
the distance made it very difficult. But I know that he really loves books, and he's got 2 books out now himself. So thank you, Sumit, for what you're doing. But now coming back to, do you think you have made a difference, even a little bit? Doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about quantitative. I'm talking about, this intangible difference in the world.
I think so. As far as, when we talk about our communities in Delhi,
I'm going to ask that.
We wouldn't be here.
I have to say something.
Let's talk about it.
See, the concept in Delhi is very different. Huh? When we talk about book clubs, when we talk about reading, most of the North Delhiites, they are more focused on, I'm talking about kids, they are more focused on 100 out of 100. They want 100 out of 100, nothing else. And they don't realize that, what will happen after the school? What is going to happen then? 100 out of 100 is not going to work. So I had to put a lot of effort to explain not children but the parents. So making a difference, yes, I think 2 years, 3 years down the line, I will see the result. Abhi, I'm still, it's back and forth happening. But yes, I think so.
You are. Yeah. No, I believe you are too. So we are going to open this up to all the audience now. And how many minutes do we have now left? So we have to. So. Oh, only 7, 8 minutes. Oh, that was an interesting discussion. So you have to keep your questions very short. Okay, only the question, no background history. Yes, please. Somebody please give them the mic. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for an interesting session. I have two questions. First one is for Shankar. So your members are reading classics. Any interesting perspective that a member has shared about the classics in the contemporary times? That is the first question. Second is, I would like to, obviously literature is evolving and the content is evolving. So I want your thoughts on that. Anybody?
Somebody. Yeah.
We've read about 40 books, so there's been plenty of feedback from the people. But if I had to point out a couple of things, I remember we read Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own, which is one of the early works of feminism, and it's as relevant today as it was then, maybe more. Another book we read was Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita, about a regime under Stalin. And if you look at what's happening now in the world, again, it's history repeats itself, and that's why, again, I'm repeating myself. But these classics do have something to say, and sometimes you can't arrive at the truth directly. You have to arrive at the truth through understanding, through an artistic object. So yeah, every book we've read, I would say, I'm just naming two off the top of my head. But yeah.
Yeah.
What was the second question?
Quality of content.
The quality. Yeah, but can I just take a thread from what you asked me? And a very important question that I wanted to ask, but now we don't have the time, is paid promotions. I'm sure, I mean, there are so many people who are always, once you publish a book, everybody, we get 100 requests to, have paid reviews, and we'll give you bulk reviews and all that. Do you get that? I mean, and does that affect your selection of books? And have you ever done it? And would you ever do it? Any one of you? Jigna? Yeah. Quickly, you can.
Yeah. So there are reviews. There are reviewers, book astronomers,
Not,
who are actually looking out for paid, reviews. But we don't encourage. We don't do any paid reviews or paid promotions. All our are organic. All our promotions, author promotions, mostly are organic. But we do actually expect book copy. That's it. But it takes a lot of time for us to even promote, take online interviews. So maybe we take a very negligible amount from the authors who are the upcoming authors. But apart from that, we don't encourage most of the paid promotions.
I can understand partnerships with publishing houses.
Yes.
That's something which is pretty legal and straightforward, because you are there and they are there, and that connect is fine. But when independent authors actually say, please take my book, I'm willing to pay, push this book, do you do that? I mean, is that I'm unaware if it's done. That's why I'm asking you.
So, Manjiri, this is a very interesting and important question that you asked. I think, for every book club, the intent matters. With what intent they are doing, the whole community exercise. And when you call it a community, automatically the paid portion goes out of it. So we have got a lot of requests, and though we want to definitely do a lot of work promoting authors, but unfortunately we don't have that kind of bandwidth to read the book, all those books which are available, and kind of interview those authors or talk about them or promote their books. We have been tying up with a lot of publishing houses who come to us, and perhaps because we've been interviewing authors, we've always gotten a chance, we've been fortunate enough, and we've always chosen that, the books that we want to read. So we have always been asked by the publishing houses who are the authors you would want to talk to. And that is how we have picked our books. And in that we are very conscious about it, because there is a certain structure to the community. There is a certain ethics that run in the community, basis which we discuss and we talk about it. So but to answer your questions, there is a lot of paid promotions that is happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
all my writers are dead, so no.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I get a lot of requests.
Yeah.
A lot of requests. They literally force me to even, come to meet my children and do some kind of workshops as well.
Yeah.
But now I've made a proper questionnaire for them. If they really want to, you have to fill up the form, and then we'll see if you want to read the book or not. Because they're like, it's kids' book, and it's all about war. It's all about chaos. And I was like, no, I can't do that. A lot of, I think once a month I get one request. Absolutely.
Wonderful. I think this was a fantastic panel. I had tons more questions to ask you and grill you, but this is so superb and you were so kind enough to answer all my questions without getting offended. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for listening. We have to encourage book clubs too. All the authors, if there are any authors here, and book clubs, please encourage readers and writers. Okay, thank you so much for all the good work you're doing.
Thank you,
and please
Manjiri.
have some living authors in your book club.
Think about it.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone's written a classic.
So yeah, there is just
for
to
every
add to
author, every book they write is a classic. Yeah, that's what you have to cut.
no, but there is a rework on the classic, the Jane Austen's book club. You can definitely start with that. It's a new book, not new as in a few years, old book, but it is based on the classics. I mean, not exactly based, but they discuss Jane Austen's book. So I think that would be a good way to start. Just a recommendation as a book club.
Yes, you have to. Please read my book. Start with my book. And as long as I'm still...
You
I'm going to
are
ignore.
getting filmed.
I'll edit it out. Please start with them. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been such a beautiful start to the day.
Thank you, Manjiri. for
Attend
having
all
us.
the sessions and enjoy the day. And the
Thank you
festival.
so much. Thank you.